Candlewick on Brilliance Audio presents The Bigfoot Files by Lindsay Eagar, performed by Emily Wu Zeller. "Bean, come see!" Miranda had heard her mother call her like this before. She'd heard it at least a dozen times that weekend alone. But even though it was a familiar summoning, even though Miranda was concentrating on a civics essay that was due 3 days earlier, even though the wind blew through the yellowing trees with a certain seriousness and the congregating clouds outside of the jury-rigged awning threatened rain, she stood up. She stuffed her papers beneath a rock near the barren fire pit and ran. But first she grabbed the camera. There were half a dozen others with them in Big Cottonwood Canyon, some of them driving across entire states to get here. They had all seen the same report, an obscure story written for levity, plucked from a credible news site and then trickling through their online community, their forums, their blogs. A pair of young hikers witnessed strange rustlings in the nettle. They had seen an abnormal stillness in the surrounding wildlife, as if the warblers and the foxes and the cutthroat trout were holding their breath as another beast, a king, passed through. They had noticed an unusual darkness in the evenings that concentrated around a figure, something tall, something that was neither human nor animal, but definitely something alive. Most of all, the hikers said, they saw shadows. Shadows without moorings. Shadows in impossible shapes. Shadows that formed and disappeared in the space of a single blink. And then the hunt began. They all wanted to see one. They all wanted proof. But sometimes, Miranda thought, the others seemed like they wanted the game to keep going more than they wanted to know. They liked the hide-and-seek of it, the gathering of intellects and theories, the division of perimeters, the smoky campfire evenings, and the fancy infrared equipment that must be unloaded and carted and mastered. Even if a creature was bagged, tagged, and hauled around the world on exhibition, many of them would no doubt still scour the media for reports, would still get together for the search. The search was what they lived for. Not Miranda. She wanted proof. She and her mother had been hunting for years. She was ready to know. And the time was ripe. In the whispering petals of wildflowers, in the babbling of clear rivers, in the freeway currents across their pockmarked windshield on their drives home after fruitless trips, she could hear it sometimes. Soon. So very soon. That afternoon, her mother had left camp to investigate a tree-mounted motion sensor camera that had been activated, then mysteriously lost power. No doubt pushed off the branch by the wind, as often happened. But her mother was giddy at the prospect. Or maybe, Bean, Bigfoot knocked it over when he saw the blinking light. What is he, camera shy? Miranda joked. Those jokes were easier to make lately. They grew on Miranda's tongue like thorns. All she had to do was spit them out. Up past the reservoir Miranda went, a thin wind crying through the firs like a vindictive ghost. When the first of a cold rain dotted her cheek, she resisted the urge to run back under the awning with her homework. Instead, she focused her mind. What if this is it? What if I turn this corner, around this pine, down this gully, and I see him? What if we found Bigfoot? Even from behind the parched autumn grass and the quaking coin-sized leaves of white aspens, Miranda could spot her mother wearing the mad-eyed grin of a person obsessed. It beamed. It was like a new sun. A knot in Miranda's stomach untied itself. It's happening, she thought, and I'm ready. Where? Miranda flew through the swishing grass and into the clearing, camera poised. Where is he? Look at it, Bean. Her mother stepped backward, angling Miranda to see the dampening loam behind a fallen log. Miranda's insides tangled.